Hey everyone, so this video today is going to be about how to track your ovulation. Tracking your ovulation is very important for trying to conceive, especially if you're doing home insemination. You want to make sure that you're tracking on time so that you can inseminate on time. Tracking is the most important thing of TTC. So I recommend that you track at least 3 months before you actually start trying to conceive. So at least you can get an opportunity to learn your pattern, learn if you're ovulating or not, if you're having issues that you may need to reach out to a fertility clinic about. So that's what I recommend. How to start with tracking your ovulation is you got to start by using ovulation tests. They have so many brands of ovulation tests out there now. I use the Easy at Mom Home one. I use the Clear Blue Digital test. Those are the two that I prefer, that I like. You can get these tests from Walgreens, CVS, Amazon, anywhere. They basically sell ovulation tests, and you can use them and they work perfectly fine. So they have different ones. They can do the digital or the strips. The strips work just as good as the digital. I don't want you to think because they little cheap little strip that they aren't good and they not working correctly, because they do. So this is how I track my ovulation. So 2 days after my period go off, I will start testing with the ovulation test strips. So I'm going to show you the ovulation test strips. So these are the box. It comes with 50 ovulation tests and 20 pregnancy tests. It comes in a box like this from Amazon. I want to say this box was like $13 on Amazon. So this is what it looks like. So the pregnancy tests will come in this package, ovulation in this one. So since we're talking about ovulation, I will pull a strip out. So this is what the ovulation strip look like. So your next step is you want to not use your first morning urine. Don't use your first morning urine like you would use for a pregnancy test. You want to use second morning. So get up in the morning, use the bathroom, hold your pee for about 2-3 hours, and then go to the bathroom again. You're going to dip this into a little cup. So I bought these little plastic cups off of Amazon. Came with 100 in it for like $6. So what I do is I will pee in a cup, and then I will insert it in and dip it for 15 seconds. So after I dip it for 15 seconds, I lay it flat and I set a timer for 5 minutes. After the 5 minutes, then I will read my test. Once I read my test, I will upload it through the Pre-Mom app. The Pre-Mom app is free, and I also think that they got a portion you could pay for, but you can get a lot of things with the free app, so you don't need to pay for it if you don't want to. It's really up to you if you want to pay for it or not. I'm perfectly fine with the free one, so I enjoy that. So when you take the test, you want to make sure that you take a picture of the test with the Pre-Mom app. And you want to make sure that you do it in very good lighting, and you want to kind of do it in the same spot all the time, because different lighting can make the test look different on the app. The app also assists you with tracking your ovulation, letting you know when ovulation is getting ready to occur. So you want to track twice a day. One in the morning, one in the afternoon. You test, you track, you hold on to your strips. Me, when it get close to my fertile window, I start testing every 4 hours. I hold my urine and then I test again every 4 hours so that I won't miss my peak. The most important thing when doing home insemination, which the route that we were going to do, is you want to make sure that when you test and you get your first positive on your test, you want to inseminate 12 to 24 hours later. So that's why I make sure that I test every 4 hours just to see when I'm going to get that positive, because that timing is important. From the first time you get the positive, you want to inseminate 12 hours after that first positive. Then you want to inseminate 12 hours after your first insemination. That's if you're using two. You don't have to use two vials if you're using frozen, but if you're using fresh, then you have more opportunities to be able to inseminate. So this is how I track my ovulation with those. Then once I get a dark, so when you take a test strip and you see that your test line is darker than your control line or the same as your control line, then that's your first positive. That's going to be your first positive. That's what starts everything. Once you see that you have your test line is darker than your control line, that becomes your peak. And then you will ovulate 24 hours after your peak. So I kind of want to show you another way to test for ovulation is using a basal thermometer. You want to test for your basal body temperature. That also helps you determine if you ovulated or not. You want to take your basal body temperature before you get out the bed in the morning. So you want to keep this at your bedside. And I found this on Amazon for $10. You want to keep that by your bedside. So before you get out the bed, before you do anything today, any day, you want to take your temperature. You also can upload that in the app as well. You can upload it in the app and it will also log your temperature in there. So this is a way that I store my test strips. So I take a plain notebook and I make sure that I head it this way. So this is my June cycle. This is the date. So I list the date for each day. Cycle is just cycle day that you're on. Everybody knows that the first day of your period makes you cycle day 1. The time that I'm going to take my ovulation test and my ovulation test strips. So for my period, which is 5 days, I do not take a test strip. I just log that it was my period. So around 2 days after my period go off, I will start taking the ovulation test. So here I waited 1 day and then took it, which is fine. So if you look, I take them in the morning, and you want to take them around the same time each day. If you possibly could, try to take them the same time each day. But if you look, so you can see how my test line is so light. So that's what determined that these all were negative. So then we get to here, which was on July 7th, cycle day 17. I got my first positive. If you can see, this line is darker than this line. So what I did then was highlighted here. So I know that this was my peak. And as you can see, it was still dark down here. So it was still ovulation time. Then what I did was I took a clear blue digital. And on this day here is when I got my smiley face. So I do this for each month. If you can see, this is August. I did the same exact thing. All my tests here are negative. When you come over here, you can see around cycle day 18 at 8:30 p.m. is when I got my positive. And then at 8 a.m. it was still positive. And then at September 19th, I'm sorry, September 15, cycle day 19 is when I got my peak. My line was darker. And then as you can see down here, I did the same thing with the clear blue. I know it's out of order. I had a blank spot, I missed it, and I didn't want to waste paper, so I ended up putting it in the same thing for June. I'm sorry, July. Same thing. So around cycle days 17, 18, 19 is when I normally will get my positive. So you kind of get an idea on what it looks like. Here's my digitals. So that's the end of this video. If you have any questions, you can comment below. I will reply to anyone that has any questions to ask me on how to track your ovulation. Until next video, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.